Greetings and salutations. Welcome back, friends. So today, a bunch of people sent me messages letting me know that David Wilcock is streaming again. He must have absolutely no shame, because even after predicting that Donald Trump would win the presidential election in a landslide, with his fake psychic superpowers, and even after predicting 3 days of darkness and talking about there being 50,000 Chinese troops on our borders and all this letter of the alphabet nonsense we now know is completely and total garbage and fake. Remember, he claimed he was getting briefings about all that stuff that turned out later to be fake. He has no shame. And he goes back to his roots. What's his roots? Ancient alien stuff. Friends, there's a website, Ancient Aliens Debunked. And you can go there and see how fast and loose everyone on that show played with the actual history and evidence and facts. Ancient Aliens as a theory is largely based on the work of Zecharia Sitchin, who had zero qualifications or education in the Sumerian language to be translating tablets, but he did. And largely later, academic scholars would go back over his so-called translations and prove that his translations were quite literally a joke, right? People who actually had the real and honest and true ability to translate these tablets talked about how ridiculously wrong Zecharia Sitchin's translations were. He basically already had the theory of ancient aliens, right? And he just translated some tablets he found to support or seem to support his theories. It's not a good way to do research. Actually, before we begin, I have to say this. Look at this, genocide. Praise the cash, $2. You asked for it. We finally got it. Super chats are on, friends. So don't be shy. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank God Almighty, and praise the AI algorithm gods for turning on the fountain of super chat cash. We praise you. We worship you. We thank you. And we thank Genocide, who, by the way, I was at the cabin yesterday and I needed to test. I didn't want to go live again without making sure that these super chats were on, because everybody's been asking for the super chats to be on. Of course, now only a few people will use them after people have been like, where's the super chats? I'd send you one if you had it. No, come on. Where are you at now? They're on. Genocide stepping up to the plate. And by the way, I was testing the super chats and just put up the Truthseekers banner logo, but I had to go and let it be public and live. And then I was trying to send myself $1 on super chats, just to test that it was working. And Genocide jumped in before me and sent, I think it was $2. So Genocide is now our top super chatter and the first person to make a super chat donation. And he may have been the first person to make a PayPal donation too. So praise the cash. And FGraph72 is here with the kind and generous $2 donation. Yes, amen. Praise the cash, praise the cash. I'm $4 up on the world. Thank you both. You have my kindness, my gratitude, and my thanks, because I would not be $4 up on the world if not for these super chats, right? Yeah, BGs, get over here and send me some money, honey. BG says, oh, hi, I'm jumping over to the tube. Yeah. So listen, I can summarize. I don't want to be here all night. I really don't, for several reasons. I mentioned this before, but I have the worst room in the house for my office. It's a tiny little room, almost like an attic room above the kitchen. And it is freezing cold in here in the winter. The radiators, for some reason, don't work. All the radiators in the entire rest of the house, the heat in every room works except for this one. So somehow I got this room. And then as soon as it starts getting warm, it's insanely, ungodly hot in here. And right behind me is the only window, and it's this big, and it's a big nightmare to try to get the air conditioner in there. And then I can't run it during the shows, and it's not big enough because it's a small window to cool this room down. So I don't know what I'm going to do. We may jump out. And look at this. What a What a display of kindness, generosity, and support. Out of Mind is here. It says, praise the cash. Congrats, Stephen, with a kind and generous $5 donation. And Steph, you don't have to do that. I should be paying you. Steph comes and does these tarot card readings. Everybody enjoys it. Steph with a kind and generous donation, a super chat donation of $4.99. And she says, yes, I know. It makes me feel like sex every time somebody sends a super chat. Steph, that's what I think. I think, oh, yes. Oh, yes. All right, that might be a little too personal. But thank you, Steph. Thank you, Out of Mind. Thank you, FGraph72. And thank you, Jonaside. Also, on the subject of super chats, I want to mention something. I will read and thank every single solitary person that sends a super chat donation. But there's a caveat. Is that the right way to say it? Caveat to that. Yes. I am my own producer, my own sound man, my own script writer, the host of the show, technical guy. I'm doing everything. So if the show gets busy and I miss a super chat, it's please just repeat what you said or let me know in the live chat. Or I'm going to ask for maybe some help from a moderator who will help me in the event that I miss somebody's super chat. I don't care if you give me 50 cents. I want to personally thank you and read your super chat. One of the things I noticed that annoys me about David Wilcock is someone added up one of his previous streams and found that he got something like over $1,000 in one stream. He doesn't read any of the super chats. Not only that, he doesn't ever thank anybody. Not one person. He doesn't do a general thanks for all the super chats tonight, guys. How self-absorbed does a person have to be that people are throwing money at them for 3 hours and he doesn't stop to acknowledge, thank them, show some gratitude? But it is what it is. That's the nature of a narcissist, I suppose. Also, one other bit of business along with this monetization, it's not really a change because I was already saying I'm going to attempt to not curse any longer because advertisers, they don't like it. But see, I haven't decided. I don't think I'm going to turn the ads on the videos because then people have to sit through all these ads and skip them. And you really only get pennies at this level of my viewership for the ads. I really just wanted the ability to take the super chat donations. But we may turn them on, and advertisers don't like when somebody's cursing through the stream or whatever they're advertising on. So I've already said I'm going to try my best to not curse through the stream. And also, we did give some rules before for being in the live chat and the show, and those rules are very simple. Please respect everyone. Don't be personally insulting. No hate speech. No racist comments. No transphobic comments or any comments that anti-gay or lesbian comments. Everyone is welcome here, regardless of race, ethnicity, cultural background, religion, sexual orientation, preferred pronouns. I don't care. Everybody is welcome here. So please just be nice and be respectful. And also, I'm going to ask, please don't curse in the live chat anymore because the YouTube AI algorithms do not like it. Now, I can't really control if you curse or don't curse. I'm just going to ask you, please don't do it. I'm going to ask you to please don't do it. And I'm going to ask the moderators to hide. There's so many of you that got a wrench. This should be easy. But if you should happen to see somebody, especially if they like write F-bombs or whatever curses, and the 7 words you can't say on television, George Carlin, those words, hide it for me or hold it for review or something. Because we just really need to be able to show a good faith effort to say no cursing. These things may happen. Please don't curse in the live chat, but have a good time. So we're going to jump. Oh, I see. I almost missed one already. Jill D is here. Praise the cash. Praise the cash, Jill D. Yes. Jill D with kind and generous donation of $9.99. I want to thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. You guys are giving me an attitude of gratitude. I was driving home today thinking about how blessed I was. Did you know that somebody on Twitter reminded me? I think it was Jason Albert. I'll have to check, but I believe it was Jason Albert. Told me on Twitter something like, you have a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children, you're building this cabin, you have a great show on YouTube, you're living the dream. And he's right. So I have an attitude of gratitude. We have worked incredibly hard to get to this point. We have worked so hard for no money. I've been working for literally nothing. Just luckily, we've had some kind of PayPal donations and about $100 a month now on Patreon, which has paid for all this stuff. And I have a huge attitude of gratitude for that as well. Charles Unleashed with a super chat, kind and generous donation of, I think that's £5, which I'm not sure what the exchange rate is like. I'll just call it $5. Thank you, Charles Unleashed, for helping a brother out with $5. And he says, so I can't say damn, blast, or bugger. Well, I don't know about damn. I think that would probably be, those would probably be okay. Just no like F-bombs, the S word, the C word, the major ones, right? Find another way to say it. So here we are. We're back with listening to David Wilcock's nonsense. And I titled tonight's show, and it's funny, Twitch wouldn't allow the title. I titled tonight's show, David Wilcock Offends Christians Worldwide. I could say a lot about Mr. Wilcock, but one of the things that has really, really been annoying me about him lately, and probably keeps me covering him, is that he offends Christians constantly. He's supposed to be a spiritual guru, and yet he says that he channels Christ or Christ consciousness. To any Christian, that's offensive. That's our God. You're an ancient aliens guy, okay? You're a guy who believes in reincarnation, thinks he was Edgar Cayce in a previous life. You're a guy who basically tells people fairy tales for a living. So for you to say that you're channeling Christ or Christ consciousness is offensive to every Christian on planet Earth. Go ask some. Go ask any Christian, can a New Age guru, ancient aliens guy channel Christ? No. David Wilcock, you can't channel Christ. And if you truly believe you can, come on my show and show us you channeling Christ. We'll get some religious scholars on here, He's not going to do that. Okay. So back to his video. He starts about 3 minutes completely, 3 minutes in, saying that it is completely impossible for humans to have built the pyramid. I'm sorry. That's a factually inaccurate statement. There's no way that it's completely impossible. Could it have taken longer than people suspect? Sure. Could they have had tools that are lost in history and we're somehow unaware that they had at their disposal, or engineering skills or math skills or any of these things that we're just not aware of? Sure, they could have. They could have known things about engineering that we don't know. But to say that it's completely impossible for humans to have built the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, is ridiculous. And if you're stupid enough to believe this, then you believe that every archaeologist, every anthropologist, every archaeologist, every Egyptologist, everybody that has spent their lifetime studying those pyramids and the history of Egypt is wrong, and David Wilcock is right. Ask an archaeologist who built the pyramids. They're going to say the Egyptians built the pyramids. There is even late breaking, well, in the last, 10 or 20 years, I was taught as a child that the pyramids were built by slaves, most likely the Israelites. Turns out later that archaeological evidence suggests that they were not slaves, but they were citizens of Egypt and huge supporters of their pharaoh. They lived near the pyramid. They got a place of honor and respect and burial near the pyramid for their life of service building it. See, that's real history that David Wilcock just completely rejects and says that aliens must have built the pyramid, right? Then he says, at about 4:30, he says, there is no way to reenact moving these huge blocks. But a quick Google search or YouTube search will show you university students, hobbyists. There's a guy in England that's building his own Stonehenge, and he can show you how he, by himself, can move a 10-ton block of granite. By himself. He's got some ropes, some pulleys, whatever. But these are things that are very common that the Egyptians most likely had or used. For him to say there is no way to reenact moving huge blocks, I'm sorry, that is a factually inaccurate statement. There's been university students that got together with their professor, 5 or 6 guys moving 20-ton stones with rollers, or there's another theory that suggests that they wet sand and the sand became very slippery, almost like snow. And if you wet the sand, it would take half the number of people to pull a rope and pull that huge granite block. There is a multitude of evidence of people reenacting moving huge granite blocks. And David Wilcock ignores all of that instead to give us the completely and totally factually inaccurate assertion and statement right at the beginning of his show that there is no way to reenact moving these huge blocks. Google it, David Wilcock. Of course there is. All right. And then about 5 minutes in, he talks in circles. David Wilcock is getting tired of saying that all his predictions are fake. So now he's given sort of a disclaimer every time he makes predictions now. And each time he does this, it forces him to talk in circles. So he says, disclosure is coming in June, but it may be more towards the middle or end of the month. Then he says, we don't know what's going to happen or if this disclosure will even take place. David Wilcock, one of these things is not like the other. You can't say disclosure is coming in June, maybe more towards the middle or the end of the month, and then say, we don't know what's going to happen or even if this disclosure will even take place. But then he says that that everything that he's getting from his briefings is trending in favor of some kind of disclosure of extraterrestrials. So if that doesn't happen in June, then we once again know that David Wilcock is a fake psychic because none of his predictions ever happen. Folks, what are the odds that in June, just like a month and a week from now, we're going to find out that the government is going to tell us all about extraterrestrials? That's what he said is going to happen. Of course, the statement previous to that, right before he said that, was we don't know what's going to happen or if disclosure will even take place. So he's covered either way. If you like his prediction and it happens, well, see, I said that. And if it doesn't happen, hey, I said we don't know what's going to be happening or if this disclosure will even take place. Oh, gosh, friends. All right, let me check, make sure I didn't miss anything. See, I'm already... All right, Charles Unleashed was the last super chat. Yeah, I got to remember to look at that. So, by the way, praise the cash. They finally turned on super chat donations. I would appreciate your generosity and support. Every dollar goes towards expanding the show. We're looking into going on Spreaker so that the audio from the Truthseekers will be on various podcast platforms, Apple and Podbean and all of those, iHeartRadio. Soon, we're going to be doing that. So all of your generosity and support goes back into expanding the show, expanding our reach, and making the show better. And thanks everybody so far who has. This is like a super chat celebration tonight. Praise the cash, friends. I've been working for 6 months for free. Okay, so this feels good. Now at least people have the capability to send me some money, and it's easy. Super chats are so easy. Okay, next, he goes back to his ancient riff that he's been talking about this for 10 years. It's like, this is his filler piece. I've noticed this. Every time David Wilcock needs to fill a little bit of time, he starts talking about the motherships and the spaceships that are under the ice, in Antarctica. He says there's a mile-long mothership there with trays on it that hold smaller UFO-type aircraft, and they appear identical to Tibetan stupas. And you can Google Tibetan stupas. They look vaguely like flying saucers. Yeah. And listen, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Did you know David Wilcock once claimed to know where that mothership is? He said, I have various sources all placing it around the same sort of 5 square mile area in Antarctica. We believe that we know where it is. Well, dude, get yourself some good socks, right? Some good thick winter boots and a good jacket or coat. You got to get a coat, like a full length, Antarctica coat, right? And get yourself on an airplane, bro. There are charter planes that will take you to Antarctica. And then there are charter helicopters that will take you to any space, safe space of Antarctica you want to go. You're telling us that you know where a mile-long spaceship is under the ice in Antarctica? And you're like a millionaire, bro. You can go look for it. You show us the spaceship, David Wilcock, or stop talking about it. It's not real. It's not real, David Wilcock. If it was real, you would have gotten on a plane, right? Rented a helicopter, gotten there with film cameras. That you want to be a star, David Wilcock? Oh, I'm a star. I was on Ancient Aliens. If you showed us a mile-long spaceship under Antarctica that you know where it is, you'd be the biggest star in the world for years. People would be talking about you forever. You'd be in the history books. But we're just supposed to believe that you know exactly where a mile-long spaceship is buried under the ice in Antarctica, but you haven't gone there or showed it to us yet. Yeah, right, David Wilcock. This guy is like worse than that like drunk in a bar that starts telling you he's a secret agent or something. You ever meet that guy, right? Had a few too many, and he's like, well, I worked for the CIA. Sure you did. Oh, and here we go. Rilo 704 with a kind and generous super chat of $20. Boy, that is very generous. Thank you very much. And he says, hey, dude, really enjoying the show. Don't let your dreams be dreams. No, I'm a big believer in that, Rilo. I always talk about that. When I depart this mortal coil, I don't want to have any unfulfilled dreams. One of my biggest was build a cabin in the woods. And I've been 3 years working on that dream, but I'm close. It's going to be done. I finished the kitchen and, we're making continual progress. I got a little bit of work to do in the bathroom, and then I got to finish off this sunroom and then build a porch, maybe a studio out the back. I'm going to be there for a while, but a dream is worth pursuing. You're right. Don't let dreams be dreams. Thank you for your generosity, your support, and your kindness. And I can't tell you how happy I am to look at the top of my screen and see those super chats all lined up there. It makes me feel good. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys, everybody's going to be as generous every show. And this is not a one-time thing like, well, he has worked for, a year for no money, so let's give him a couple bucks. And then tomorrow and the next day is nothing. But it's a roulette wheel. I'll take what I can get. And I'm happy that the capability is there, right? Chris says he could at least show us the bin lid. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Jonaside, for letting me know that I had a super chat. Yeah, there you go. You guys can help me, let me know if I missed something like that, right? And if I would appreciate that. Okay, so at about 45 minutes in, he starts talking about this spaceship, and he says that reports from his insiders, because he has insiders. What insiders are talking to him? What kind of insiders know anything about the mothership under Antarctica anyway, right? Who would know about that? I guess scientists that work in Antarctica, so we're supposed to believe that he has communications with scientists that work in Antarctica. Show us your sources, David Wilcock. You just make this stuff up. It's pretty obvious. You never cite a source. You say my insiders. That's the super duper prover maneuver. Well, I'm about to say a whole lot of BS, and it really sounds far-fetched in that I'm reaching and making this up. So I got to put in the David Wilcock super duper prover maneuver. Say things like, in recent briefings, I learned that, or my insiders have been contacting me, all telling me the same thing. So this is the BS he's peddling that needs a super duper prover maneuver because it's so ridiculous. The reports from his insiders say that the mothership was from around the time of Atlantis, and that I'm not sure if he's talking about the aliens or the Atlanteans, but they had 3D printers for their meals. Boy, that sounds appetizing. How would you like a 3D printed meal, right? They knew how to raise animals and grow grain. They had smart glass pads, iPads on a piece of glass. And he got that from Corey Good, which interestingly, Apple had one of those before Corey Good talked about it. And he did work in tech, so I don't think those glass alien iPads exist, David Wilcock. I think that Corey Good saw Apple development stuff or something, or an article about a prototype or whatever product they were working with or on, and ran with the story that the aliens had these glass pads. But it is what it is. So anti-gravity, they also had anti-gravity, but the floods sank Atlantis and they all died. Okay. No proof, no historical, there's no historical records of this. There's no scientific proof of anything he's saying here. He's just making this up. But he did put in the super duper prover maneuver, so somehow that makes it okay. Okay. At about an hour in, I think it's an hour in, he says that we have absolutely no way to explain how the pyramids were built, even with our modern technology. Again, this is a completely and totally factually inaccurate statement. Archaeologists have several theories. Most of the disputes center around how did they get the blocks up. Some archaeologists say they used ramps. Other archaeologists say they used sand piles. They would pile up sand and keep piling sand to get the brick, the block where it needed to be. But to say that we have absolutely no way to explain how the pyramids were built is the same ridiculous argument that all these ancient alien guys use. Well, we don't know how they did it. Must have been aliens then. It's ridiculous, and this logic is completely and totally flawed. Just because we don't know how something is done doesn't mean it was done by aliens. But that's the logic they use. That's the argument they use. And it is a weak, flawed argument for sure. Okay, friends. Let's see. 119. He gives the math that they had to place one block every 2.2 minutes for 20 years. And again, this is another nonsensical argument. You don't know what the Egyptians actually did, how quickly they were able to place blocks. Maybe they had everything assembly lined and they would place 10 bricks at a time or something. So these ancient alien guys always use this math. They'd have to place one block every 2.2 minutes for 20 years. Well, we don't know if they built the pyramid in 20 years. It could have been built over 40 years, in which case one block every 4.4 minutes sounds a lot more plausible. It's just ridiculous. They just use this mental gymnastics and numbers to try to say it must have been aliens. How did they do that? They couldn't do that. We had to be helped by the aliens. No, one has nothing to do with the other. Okay? Again, at 120, he says the pyramid there is no way that the pyramid could have been built by humans. There's no evidence. There's zero archaeological, scientific, historical evidence that aliens had anything to do with the pyramid. So, yeah, this is a ridiculous, non-factual statement. But that's what he does. He throws out lies as if he's some kind of authority. The pyramid could not have been built by humans. Why? Because you say it was aliens? Of course the pyramid could be built by humans. By the way, there's a guy in Russia. Of course, he's kind of a pyramid power wacko, but he's building pyramids all over Russia, right? So if he can build pyramids, I bet you 40,000 or 80,000 people getting together in ancient Egypt would have been able to pull this off. This ridiculous theory that the pyramids had to be built by aliens is an insult to our ancestors. Because what we're saying is our ancestors were so unskilled, so stupid, so lacking in engineering skill or even just in willpower, right? They would never have been able to do this. It had to be aliens help them. You're taking away a tremendous achievement from an ancient people and cheapening their part in history. You're cheapening our ancestors' intelligence, their engineering skills, their ability to get things done and organize, and their perseverance. You know what kind of perseverance? The pyramids, some have suggested, may have been multi-generational. It may have taken them, like you're born, you start working on the pyramid, you have a kid. While you're working on the pyramid, you die, and then your son starts working on the pyramid. That's perseverance. And this alien hypothesis garbage cheapens everybody who worked on that pyramid, and it bothers me. Okay. The level of precision means it could not be humans. It must have been aliens. It can't be done at all, even with modern technology. Again, these are factually inaccurate statements. Go ask an architect, an engineer. Go ask somebody that's a stonecutter. Could you build a pyramid in modern times? Sure you could. It would be damn expensive and it would take a long time. But of course, modern humans could build. We could build an exact replica of the Great Pyramid if we so choose to. And someday I hope some billionaire. Did you know there's like a billionaire that's rebuilding or rebuilt the Titanic? A one-to-one replica, exact replica of the Titanic? I hope some rich guy wants to build a one-to-one replica of the Great Pyramid. Just so I never have to hear some ancient alien idiot say that we could never do it today, even with modern technology. Ask an engineer. Yeah, we could. Would it be difficult? Sure, but we could. This is a nonsensical argument to try to, again, back everybody into a corner. Yeah, well, then maybe it was those aliens. No, it wasn't. Okay, at 120, he talks about the monuments on Mars. Again, you know, the ones that have been debunked by everyone in NASA since those Mars satellites got there, right? Those monuments on Mars, it's garbage. Ask a real planetary scientist if that's a real thing or if it's just naturally occurring rocks and mountains and see what they say. And again, for you to believe David Wilcock, you have to believe that every NASA scientist, every planetary scientist, every astronomer, every astrophysicist that would take the time to look into the Mars monuments and say it's fake are all wrong and David Wilcock is right because he's an expert, right? He's an expert in everything: planetary science, engineering, ancient history, religious history. No, he pretends to be, but he's terrible at most of these things, especially physics. Okay, so then he says that there's a 1 in 3 billion chance that the pyramid was built where it is, and that those people had to know the Earth was round. Listen, yeah, they may have known. Do you think that Galileo and Copernicus and everybody, those were the first guys? Maybe people in ancient history figured this thing out. A lot of people think the Mayans had an amazing understanding of astronomy, and a lot of Egyptologists believe that the ancient Egyptians had an amazing knowledge of astronomy. So certainly they may have known that the Earth was round. There's no reason to believe that they didn't know that the Earth was round. Again, more nonsense just to prove his point. Then he talks for about 15 minutes about all the math coincidences about the pyramid. And again, it must have been aliens. These people, those ancient Egyptians, were too stupid to know how to align things to the stars, even though we see historical, real, factual evidence that cultures all around the world, in England, they aligned Stonehenge to the stars, right? The Mayans aligned those pyramids somewhat to the stars. And the ancient Egyptians, many believe, lined the pyramids up with the stars, and specifically put it in such a place that it would line up or work with the equinoxes. There's examples of people doing this all over the world. So to say that it couldn't be done by humans is ridiculous. He doesn't know history. I'm sorry, Mr. History Channel guy. You don't know anything about real history. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is where it gets good. Okay, math coincidences. All right, let's see. 1 in 3 billion. Okay. Oh, at 141, I love this. Wait, listen. Listen, we're going to share. We're going to share because, boy, you know, I get people complaining about the audio quality on my stream, and I just laugh and think about David Wilcock, who's got, you know, I don't know how much he said he's invested into his home studio, but it's a hell of a lot of money. And he still has not fixed his echoing issues. Listen to this.
It can be derived from the Earth's own measurements. Now, what do I mean by that?
I don't know.
What we're going to do here is we're going to look at the Earth, and we're going to take the pole-to-pole height of the Earth. We're going to look at it from the North Pole to the South Pole.
This is what I'm talking about. Mental gymnastics and a bunch of math.
And then we're going
that doesn't
to measure
prove aliens.
that line
I don't
very
care
precisely.
what you do with math,
now,
bro.
This isn't going to be affected very much, if at all, by any
echoing
increase in the Earth's bulging.
All right, I can't listen to any more of that. But here's where it gets great, because people in the live chat were complaining constantly about all the echoing. And at about an hour and 40 minutes in, David Wilcock claims that the echoing is our adversaries doing that to us. Our setup is right, and it shouldn't be echoing. The echoing has to be our adversaries doing that to us. Yeah. So somebody is somehow interrupting his stream, and instead of blanking out his stream or doing something really nefarious, they're just making his voice echo. It's not that David Wilcock, the guy who claimed that he has a 180 IQ, doesn't know how to work a microphone, right? It's not that. It's like the Men in Black, right? The CIA is intercepting his stream and making his voice echo. It doesn't make any sense. At 145, he did mention previous stream that he got a 3D printer. And he for about 10 or 15 minutes, he talks about 3D printers and gives us all 3D printing lessons. Then he says that the people who built the pyramids must have had 3D printers to make the Great Pyramid, and that maybe the pyramids were built with a super advanced 3D printer. Then he said 3D printers, lasers, and particle beams are the only real explanation for how the Great Pyramid was built. I don't even know where to go with that. First of all, there's no historical or scientific evidence that 3D printers existed until the last 10 years, right? Recently. There's no record of 3D printers in ancient history or particle beams and lasers, David Wilcock. But according to David Wilcock, 3D printers, lasers, and particle beams are the only real explanation for how the pyramid was built. Jesus Christ. Okay. Now let's see here. Jason Quidd is here. Shout out to Jason Quidd. He says, there is a monument on Mars. It is a message for humans. It says, y'all can't breathe here. Go back to Earth. Oh, boy. All right, wait. I got to try to get through this. We're almost through. I don't have very much more. Oh, yeah, there is, actually. Okay. Next, after the 3D printers, he talks about the science of pyramid power and how pyramids can preserve food and make magic water that can cure cancer and heal diabetes or anything that's wrong with you. And they can also sharpen razor blades. And what he's talking about is pyramid power. And if you look up pyramid power on Wikipedia, it says, refers to the belief that the ancient Egyptian pyramids and objects of similar shape can confer a variety of benefits. Including function as a thought form incubator, improve health, sharpen or maintain the sharpness of razor blades, and cause other effects. But the biggest bullet point in this article that you need to know is there is no scientific evidence that pyramid power exists. But David Wilcock talks about it like it's scientific fact, and he even mentions a few crackpot researchers that he claims proved this. Ask a scientist, and they will agree that there is no scientific evidence that pyramid power exists. So here, once again, is David Wilcock talking about stuff that is fake. It's just fake. It's just fake. He knows it's fake. He knows it's fake. He knows there's no scientific evidence that there's anything to it. But here we are, right? All right. Now, he gives us a science lesson about electricity and gravity. And I wrote a note, boy, David Wilcock is no physicist. He's a joke. He's an expert in everything. He's going to tell us that he's an expert in engineering and there's no way humans could have built the pyramid and all this stuff. He talks about physics like he's an expert. He doesn't have a high school student's understanding of physics, okay? I took physics. I don't think he's ever taken a physics class. I would challenge him to show us his college. He's never taken a physics class. The way he talks in word salad, new age nonsense. That's not science. Okay. Then he says that people were put inside a Russian jail with slabs of granite from the pyramid, and they were nicer. Okay. And I looked this up, and there is a source for it. It's the Russian crackpot pyramid researcher guy that's building pyramids all around Russia, who's made his living for, near as I could tell, the last several decades, selling books on pyramid power. So I don't think that's a good source. I was unable, at this late hour to contact somebody from Russia to find out if anybody in Russia will admit that they put slabs of granite from the pyramid inside Russian-built jails, but I'm guessing that this is fake. And the next one is definitely fake. He says that they would put bowls of water inside a pyramid, and then the pyramid water, was given to premature babies who were near death, and that all those babies that they gave it to survived. Okay, I don't know what the source for this is, but then he says that pyramid water, it has been proven, can cure cancer, diabetes, it cures anything and everything. David Wilcock is stupid enough to suggest that all you have to do to cure any human ailment is put a bowl of water inside a pyramid for a while until it charges up with that pyramid power, and then you drink it, and it'll cure your cancer, your diabetes, and anything and everything wrong with you. And he says it's been scientifically proven to work in lab animals like rats or whatever. Where, David Wilcock? Where's the studies where they gave pyramid water to cancer rats? This is nonsense. Again, to believe David Wilcock on this point means that you have to believe that every scientist, every doctor, every medical professional on planet Earth, every herbalist, every pharmacist, every person developing drugs to help with these cancer remedies, all of them are wrong. And David Wilcock is right, and you don't need drugs or anything. All you got to do is put some water in a bowl in a pyramid and drink it if you have cancer, and you'll be cured. This is the nonsensical argument. It's so easily picked apart by simple logic. If it was that easy to cure cancer and the information is out there in the public, I'm pretty sure that the doctor, if you go to the doctor for cancer, instead of that, terrible chemotherapy where you're going to be sick for a year and suffer for a year and lose weight, a doctor wouldn't do that, right? He would just tell you to drink some pyramid water to cure that cancer. But they don't, because this is fake. Just like David Wilcock. All right, a little bit more notes to go through. And then we get to, Jesus. He says that the pyramid sarcophagus can take your consciousness into another domain, and you'll be faced with the exact nature of all your karma you have created in your life. It's horrific, but you can review all your karma, and you will experience shamanic death, monsters chasing you, you'll be eaten alive by animals, and your body cut apart. It's very nasty, he goes on to say, and only the bravest people will do it. But if you do burn off all your karma in this horrific nightmare, then you come out with ascended abilities. Does anybody remember when he promised us in 2012 we'd all get those ascended abilities, those superpowers? Now he's trying to explain why we didn't get them. I guess because we did not go inside the pyramid sarcophagus and have our consciousness taken into another domain, right? Jesus. Then he goes on to say that Edgar Casey says that the Aquarian gospel of Jesus Christ was real. And by the way, I'm a Christian. No, it wasn't. It was a channeled book of New Age nonsense, quite like the Law of One. This book makes the argument that Jesus ascended inside the Great Pyramid during his 3 missing years. And David Wilcock says that's the truth. That's what happened. Jesus was born, and then he had to go into the pyramid before he could begin his ministry as Jesus and suffer through this pyramid sarcophagus trial by fire. It's nonsense. Ask any Christian. There's no historical record. There's nothing in the Bible about Jesus visiting the pyramid. This is made up garbage nonsense that he cited a made-up nonsense book. Oh, I don't even want to say that. The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus is a channeled work. And most Christians and Catholics really would say that is not, if you're a real Christian, that's not real. It's New Age nonsense. And most priests, ministers, and religious scholars would agree with me. Okay. And then he says the Great Pyramids were encoded when Jesus was born, when he ascended. And I just wrote, there's no evidence for that. Total nonsense. He's talking about this pyramid code where people put all these, again, this is a numbers game. Jumble up all the numbers of this measurement and this measurement and this measurement. See, and it leads to this date, which means it must have predicted X, Y, or Z. No, it's New Age gobbledygook garbage. But That's what David Wilcock has made his career out of, New Age gobbledygook garbage. So he's saying, he starts citing all these measurements, and again, it's just a game. We add up this, we add up this. Oh, look, it reaches this date. It's garbage. It's just garbage. If you want to believe it, good for you. Then he says the pyramid slope angle goes through Bethlehem. The angle of the inner passageways are 23 degrees. Straight latitude line, take that angle and draw it up going east, and it crosses Bethlehem. Yeah, and it crosses 10,000 other towns. If you extend that line around the earth, it'll cross 100,000 towns. So the fact that it crosses Bethlehem, okay, I'll give you that, but it crosses 10,000 other towns. He's trying to prove that the pyramid is all connected to Jesus Christ, and he's doing a terrible job of it so far. I grew up Christian, 12 years of scripture study. The pyramids never mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament, the New Testament. I've read the apocryphal books of the Bible. All those books of the Bible that they left out of the official Bible. I've read those too, the book of Enoch and, the Gospel of Thomas. I've read every Christian text, ancient text certainly, besides the Bible, that I could get my hands on. Nobody mentioned Jesus and the pyramids. So every biblical scholar has to be wrong. Every Christian scholar has to be wrong. Every Christian historian has to be wrong. Every church on earth that has anything to do with Christ has to be wrong. And David Wilcock is right about this. They're all wrong. He's right. Come on, friends. Then he talks about the pyramid, and I wrote another vote. He's even saying, oh, I know people are going to say you're reaching, but no, other people talked about this too. Just because other people talked about it doesn't mean it's true. You haven't proven anything because some other whack nut new age guy talked about the same stuff. Then I just made a note. This is a 3-hour advertisement for his book. Throughout his presentation, he keeps on saying, this will be more clear in the book. This will be more clear in the book. As if to say, if you really want to understand the gobbledygook new age nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, you got to buy my book. He talks about pyramid code predicting things. And I say this is new age nonsense and reaching by new age people. No serious or credible archaeologist, to my knowledge, agrees with this being real or scientifically provable or valid. That is the pyramids measurements predicting historical events. It's new age, ancient aliens, people, garbage. All right, let's see. Then he says that the capstone of the pyramid represents Christ. And the only proof that he could cite for this is a Bible verse. And I'm very familiar with it, actually. It's, I believe it's Matthew 1:18, 22, and 23, which says, the stone which the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord had done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. The Bible verse says cornerstone. He's saying the stone on the top represents Jesus. And then he cites this, listen, a cornerstone and a capstone are two different things, David Wilcock. Again, you show your ignorance and your stupidity here and your lack of education and your lack of being able to clearly tell the difference between fact and fiction. The Bible verse mentions Jesus was the cornerstone. Never says capstone, and ancient people knew the difference between a cornerstone and a capstone, so I call BS on this. Then I wrote, buy my book, because he kept on, plugging his book. Then he plugged his new course. Buy my new course. I can't tell you about this important information here for free. You got to pay $333. He didn't say that. I thought that, but that's the thing. Then he starts talking about the contactee movement in the 1950s and 60s. Those people that were all proven frauds later, like George Adamski, Howard Menger, and Billy Meyer. He says that in the 1950s, ETs were telling us that the sun goes through an event, the planets will orbit and change. The planets will move further from the sun. The moon might no longer orbit the Earth. It might become its own planet. And they say every aspect of our Earth will change. And he says that these things are all happening right now. I don't know about you, friends, but I haven't seen the sun going through an event. I haven't seen the planet's orbits changing or being talked about on the news. So again, every astrophysicist, planetary scientist, NASA scientist, astronaut, everyone that studies our solar system, that's a scientist on planet Earth, they're all wrong. And David Wilcock is right, because some aliens told these fake alien contactees like George Adamski, Howard Menger, and Billy Meyer that this would happen, right? He's just pulling this out of nowhere. And it's all happening right now. Oh, geez. Then he starts talking about how Hannibal and Hitler look exactly alike, and Hitler must have been the reincarnation of Hannibal. Why, or what proof does he have? Well, they looked alike. Then he says that 9/11 was playing out in Polish history 539 years before that. Well, David Wilcock, I'm Polish, and I even checked with some of my Polish friends, and we did the math and tried to find out what event in Poland 539 years before 9/11 was the same as 9/11. There wasn't even airplanes then. No plane, no buildings collapsed 539 years ago in Poland. He's just making this up. I'm Polish. Ask a Polish person what happened 539 years before 9/11 that was like 9/11 but happened in Poland. And the answer is nothing. He's just making this up, I think. I'm Polish, half Polish. Then he pitches his Ascension Mystery School website again and says, buy my course. Then I made a note, numerology, mental gymnastics again. Then he starts talking about Jesus says, forgive your brother 7 times, 77 times. Wait, I want to get back to this. So one point I skipped here is that David Wilcock says that Jesus went to the pyramid and went into the sarcophagus and had this, transferred his consciousness to another domain and had the monsters chasing him and all this stuff. That is offensive to Christians. There's no mention of that in the Bible. If we're expected to believe David Wilcock, we have to believe that every religious person on planet Earth is wrong, every religious scholar is wrong, and David Wilcock is right. And Jesus went to the pyramid and went in the sarcophagus, and that's why he was able to become Jesus. These are words out of David Wilcock's mouth. And I just want to mention, he's supposed to be a spiritual guru, right? He has a spiritual foundation, right? Him talking about, can you just leave Jesus out of your fake fairy tale stories? You want to talk about aliens? Go ahead, right? You want to talk about interdimensional beings? Go ahead, right? You want to talk about pyramids being built by aliens? Go ahead. But could you leave Jesus Christ out of your con game? Can you leave Jesus Christ out of your fairy tales? Because you're not a Christian, and you're offending every Christian who does believe in Jesus Christ by saying these ridiculous fairy tale things, and including Jesus Christ in your fairy tales is offensive to Christians. He got paid. People were sending him money while he was telling these fairy tales about Jesus Christ ascending in the pyramid. It's ridiculous. Would a spiritual person do that? Right? Why would a spiritual person offend? Like, I wouldn't purposefully just start telling stories about, I don't know, Muhammad from the Muslim faith. And, maybe I could just start telling stories about Muhammad, right? And how he, before he started his ministry, went to the pyramid, right? No, that would be offensive to Muslims because there's no basis for those stories to be told. Just like there's no basis for these stories that David Wilcock is. He's just making this stuff up. Yeah, and he makes a point about another Bible verse where someone asks Jesus, how many times should I forgive my brother? And Jesus replies, 7 times 70. You should forgive your brother 7 times 77 times, right? And what David Wilcock says is what he's really talking about is because time cycles repeat, that we have to forgive what happened in previous cycles, and that we have multiple lifetimes. So we have to forgive people that may have harmed us in previous lifetimes. And Jesus knew about the multiple lifetimes. So that's why he said, no, he was proving a point. You should just keep forgiving. That's what the point was of that Bible verse and that bit of nugget and wisdom from Jesus Christ. And again, you're offending all Christianity here because Christians don't believe in reincarnation, David Wilcock. And Jesus certainly didn't know, well, maybe he knew, I don't know. He didn't teach anything about reincarnation. So again, for you to suggest that he's saying this because of reincarnation is offensive. It's totally, completely, and totally against the Christian faith to suggest. Well, it takes a lot to offend me, and and I'm done being offended by him. I forgive him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to forgive you, David Wilcock, for being this way, and for involving my religion in your grift, in your con games to sell fake stories to people. Okay, I'm just going to forgive you, and that's all I could do. And I'm going to try not to no longer be offended when you say stupid things like Jesus went into the sarcophagus of a pyramid. It's best to forgive. It's better to forgive, right? But he keeps on bringing up Jesus, and it bothers me. Like I said, you want to talk about aliens? Go ahead. You are telling fairy tales about some people's concept of God. It's not just Jesus to me, David Wilcock, and Christians all over the world. That's God to us. So you're insulting our God. Every time you tell these fairy tales, like you can channel Jesus Christ or Christ consciousness, or Jesus went inside the sarcophagus of the pyramid, there's no evidence of this. You're making it up, and you're offending Christians all over the world. Making this stuff up. That's our God, David Wilcock. And you don't just make up fake stories about somebody's God so you can make money selling fake stories, David Wilcock. That's offensive. But it is what it is. I don't think this man cares. He's such a narcissist. It's all about spotlight. And how ridiculous can my stories get while people still believe me, right? Just a few last notes. Again, he starts talking about Hitler was Hannibal reincarnated. Why? Because they looked alike. And then he says Emperor Cato of Rome was reincarnated as Jimmy Carter. And again, what's his proof for this? Because they looked alike. Just like his proof for being Edgar Cayce reincarnated is that he looks a little bit like Edgar Cayce at the right angle, with the right lens, setting up the photos right. Yeah, he bears some superficial resemblance. I don't understand these people. I don't get it. If he's Edgar Cayce reincarnated, then Edgar Cayce, on his new incarnation as David Wilcock, took a huge step down in his accuracy of his psychic readings, because every one of David Wilcock's psychic readings failed. He doesn't have any that pan out. They just don't pan out, friends. They never pan out. So then he goes and does a meditation, a peace, world peace meditation. And, I don't even know what to say about that. Whatever. Again, Maharishi effect, garbage, nonsense. It's not real. You can't meditate and cause, crime rates to lower. He thinks you can. And it's not real. Just like David Wilcock, it's not real. I managed to get through this without cursing at Mr. Wilcock. I'm going to try to be a good Christian and forgive you for insulting all Christians throughout the world with your latest stream talking about Jesus and the pyramids, okay? And the pyramids relationship to Jesus visiting the pyramid, going in the sarcophagus. None of that is real, sir. I'm a Christian. And by the way, I just wanted to mention, just for the benefit of people who are not aware, I was raised Christian, Catholic. And I had Bible study by both the Catholics and then by Primitive Methodist minister in the form of Sunday school. So not only did I have to sit through Catholic school all week and go to Catholic Mass on Sunday, my father got friendly with a Christian minister and made us go to the Christian church also on Sunday. So I had church twice, plus Bible study at the Protestant church and daily theology and scripture study classes in Catholic school, taught mostly by the Jesuits for 12 years. So when I say that there is no relationship or relation between Jesus Christ of the Bible and the ancient Egyptian pyramids, I tell you that with a very high degree of certainty, right? Just to be sure, I called the priest friend shortly before broadcast. I'm like, just tell me that I'm not crazy. Okay. Did Jesus ever visit the pyramid did you ever see anything? Is there something, maybe there's something in the Vatican vaults that proves David Wilcock is right. Jesus visited the pyramid and went through the dark night of the soul when he jumped in that sarcophagus. But I don't think so. I think it's all fake. It's all fairy tales. It's all from the land of David Wilcock make-believe. And that's where we're at, friends. So, Cito Enchanter's here's got to bust my bubble. Says some Christians might agree with him, Stephen. Maybe, but I don't think so. I got schooled by both Catholic priests and by Christian ministers. I had a double dose of Christianity growing up. And yeah, I think there are some Christian sects that, especially like Orthodox Christians, that don't believe the Catholics are real Christians. And I don't know. I'm a recovered Catholic right now. I'm just Christian, which is a much better way to do it. Just my own 2 cents. And by the way, I want to take a moment to thank everyone again for these tremendous outpouring of super chats. There are super chats now, so I don't even have a bumper. But for those of you that don't know what a super chat is, you click that money button down in the live chat, and then it will allow you to send some money direct to our show. I want to thank everybody that donated tonight so far. You guys made my night. I forgot about the super chats until we went live and people started sending them. So it's a good thing. Steph says, I understand what Stephen is saying. I was born and raised Catholic, been through it all, but glad to be out. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll give you that. If you want to be absolutist, what I mean, or what, you know what, a better point, CW Chandler, you're right. Actually, to say that no Christian would believe as he does is probably logically impossible. But what I will say is that no Christian that I'm aware of has ever been taught that what he's saying about Christ visiting the pyramids and getting in the sarcophagus and all of this is ever taught. I had 12, maybe they left it out of my 12 years of daily theology and scripture study, and they left it out of all those Bible study classes and scripture study classes that I took from the primitive Methodist ministers. I never heard of this. Okay. I think he literally made this up. He had this idea, and then he does what he usually does, CW, and he picked a bunch of stuff that may support his argument, like, this is what they do. David Icke does something very similar. Holly Baglio says, agreed, Stephen, we were not taught that in church. No, and it would be crazy if they did teach that. Yeah, so friends, we're doing something new here, which is a musical guest every show. I didn't have time to make new ones, so we're going to replay one we've already played, but everybody told me how much they liked it the first time, so I'm sorry for not having anything ready, but I do need to take a very short break. So what we're going to do here is, let me get that off. Yeah. So we have a musical guest tonight, Michal Towber, which will allow me to take a short break. I'll be right back, friends.
Forgotten by the not abandon me. And you kissed my tears away, but I woke up to that day, and I memorized the way our eyes would meet, reflected in the bathroom mirror. And I memorized your naked silhouette as you slowly brush your hair.
Well, there we are, friends. I will put, I did not do it yet because I forgot about the musical guest tonight, but I will put the link to her YouTube in the video description sometime before the show is over. Yeah, and we're going to devote my full attention to the live chat, but before we do that, I was going to save this for tomorrow, but it's too good. So I'm going to share something that I saw on Twitter, which I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, friends. Let me try that one more time. Sorry. I have too much open here. Okay. And what we find is Jimmy Church in a video claiming that he vets everything he talks about on his shows with at least 3 verifiable published sources. And he's going to have Sarah R. Adams on his show tomorrow night, and we're going to cover it. That may mean that the show would run really, really late. So maybe I won't cover it tomorrow, but I will certainly cover it on Tuesday. And I'm going to listen to Jimmy Church talking to Sarah R. Adams, who claims she was a super soldier and also claims that she has super psychic healing powers that we busted her on that aren't real. And we're going to see if he vets her claims of having superpowers with 3 verified published sources. The hypocrisy is just crazy. I cannot believe it. I can't believe it.
I vet everything 3 times before I mention it on the air.
If I
can't vet.
And I think it's funny. Somebody took the video and just spliced in a bunch of Corey Good.
I vet everything 3 times before I mention it on the air. If I can't vet something 3 times from a credible published source, I don't speak about it. And that's journalism 101. That's what they teach you in school when you're first starting out. You don't
He's
go
a
with one
journalist.
vetted source. You don't.
He's a journalist, right? Oh, come on. Really? Jimmy Church is going to stand there with a straight face and say that he vets everything that he talks about on his show 3 times with verified published sources. I don't even know what to say about that, except there's no way. There's no way. There's no way he vets anything. He's going to have Sarah R. Adams on his show tomorrow night. He's going to talk about her superpowers for 2 hours. Is he going to stop her and go, excuse me, has your superpowers been scientifically tested and proven to be real? Otherwise, we can't really talk about that on my show because I need 3 sources, right? Bull. He's got the Bloodstones on, right? He's got, David Wilcock on his show. Well, he had. I don't know if there's a falling out there. And he had Corey Good on his show. He's had Michael Sala on his show. He's had all kinds of people telling fake stories with no sources or no reputable or credible sources. He's had people telling stories on his show with fake sources that we here have proven are completely and totally fake, right? I could show you chapter and verse examples of the times that he's had people on his show that were just telling fake stories with fake sources. And he's going to stand here with a straight face and say that he vets everything on his show with 3. Come on, Jimmy Church. Give me a break. He wouldn't be able to do 5 shows. He wouldn't be able to do 1 show a week if he really had to do that. CW Channer is out here, and he left too early because I was going to mention that coming up this week, we're going to have CW Ranter. And I've got the shirt that he wears. I've got the mask. I've even got the background of his office. It looks good, folks. It looks good. He's a little bit more work. The mask has to have a haircut. All right, questions or comments for me, put them in the live chat. Killboy says, may the Lord bless you all and keep you safe. Good night. Yeah. But William Pitchley says, Sarah Adams is totally worth slamming. Steph says, I hate frauds. Yeah. Brandon Young says, we need more guitars. Well, if anybody has any musical guests or artists, send them to me. I would appreciate that. You can email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com if you're a musical artist or know of one who would allow us to share some of their musical work on our show as a musical guest. We're trying to do 1 every show. Brandon Young says there was already a CW Ranter. I don't care. I'm doing it better, and I couldn't think of a better name. And yeah, Mario Keat, I believe, sent me like a 5-year-old video of somebody wearing a beard. Mine's better. I don't care, Brandon Young. Couldn't think of a better name. Steph says, I do actually have someone I know. All Around Arbiter says, yeah, right, Jimmy Church. I can't believe that he said that. I can't believe that he said he vets everything on his show with 3 sources. Come on. But yeah, if you want, you can email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com with any musical artists. Yeah, and Steph says she has to email me the artist and ask me something. You can ask me anything, Steph. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about David Wilcock. I think he's getting desperate going back to ancient alien garbage, right? It's safer, right? And we're all just supposed to forget that he talked about the letter of the alphabet for 4 years and all of that was fake. We're all just supposed to forget about that. Don't worry about that fake information. All Around Arbiter just laughs at Jimmy Church. Well worth laughing at. Do I have a Hello Kitty guitar? No, I don't. But I know a little. I think my female cousin, had one when we were growing up, and I used to bang on it. I'd rock the Hello Kitty guitar when I was a little boy. I didn't care. For those of you just joining us who are not aware, we do have the Super Chat donations are on now. So all you people that have wanted to send a Super Chat donation, it's catching up time now. And my thanks for the generosity, the kindness, and support that everybody who did send a Super Chat tonight. I really, truly do appreciate it. It's going to help. It's going to help us do new things on the show. We're going to be on all these audio podcast platforms, just in audio form going forward, because I wasn't going to do that, but one of my friends says, do you know, I put your show on my phone and I work. So I can't watch your show, but I listen to it. Why don't you do it as audio podcast? And I thought nobody would just listen to it. I thought it's a video show. People, you want to see it. But we're going to put the audio to all the podcast networks, and that will cause us to have quite an influx of new audience members and participants, hopefully, and hopefully grow the show much more. Yes, I was going to do that pitch next. Remember to donate. Well, you can donate from a super chat donation now, or there's a PayPal donate button in the About section of our channel, or you can become a Patreon supporter. And this month on Patreon, everybody got 2 new songs that I wrote and recorded, and they also got the behind the scenes backstage pass and got to see the CW Ranter screen tests that I did with the mask after building everything, and got sort of a sneak preview of that. And also we do a monthly journal, just talking about the show and the behind the scenes and things that are going on, and you get that backstage pass for as little as $1 a month. The other way to support our show is, and this really does help, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please send some of our video links to your friends. If you enjoy this kind of content, chances are you know somebody else who would too. And I would appreciate you sharing our show with them. Invite them to our live chats. We're having great live chat discussions lately. Everyone is welcome. I would really appreciate that. Smash the like button, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know when we're going to be doing shows. And I have to say, I think that we're going to be doing shows at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And now that the super chats are on, I may do 5 or 6 days a week, or shows a week, or maybe even more. I was talking to a friend who does he's got like a political channel, but he does a morning stream or an afternoon stream and then an evening stream. And he has a set schedule. So, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he does 10 a.m. stream and then an 8 p.m. stream. Monday through Friday, like we may do that. I don't know if there's enough demand or enough content to talk about, but we could sure try it. I'm gonna try to pick up the output of the show for more than one reason. I found my notes from originally before I started the show, and it was interesting. I had two big goals, and one of them was to get monetized, which we finally reached. Thank the AI algorithm gods. Praise the cash. People can send me super chat donations. And by the way, you have my word and my commitment. I will read every single super chat and thank every single person who sends a super chat. And if I forget or miss it, someone let me know and I will correct that. Even if I have to correct it on the next show, if I miss one, or God forbid, if you are the person that sent it to me and realized that I didn't see it, didn't read it, email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. I will apologize and read it as soon as possible and thank you as soon as possible. One of the things that really bothers me is noticing that some of these, I call them UFO celebrities, they can sometimes get thousands of dollars given to them in a live stream and they don't stop and thank anybody. They don't even read the super chats, which is crazy to me. The point of the super chats is interaction with the audience. It is a great and beautiful thing. And of course, you throw a few bucks and you get higher visibility, right? Oh, there we go. And the first super sticker there was FGraph 7072. You get the first super sticker. You're the first person to send me a super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and support. I really and truly appreciate it. And he sent a super chat donation earlier. So that's twice in one show. Very generous of you. Thank you, FGraph72. Yeah. And so see, that's what happens. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this too. 1 second. I'm gonna do this because this might help me actually. This may be a way that I cannot screw up and miss the super chats. There's a way. I think there's a way here. Let me see. I got to do a pop out. Yeah, pop out chat. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Good. All right. Now let me see if this is going to work. I'm going to share my screen and try to share the pop out. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So this might help me not miss the super chats. So there we see FGraph72 with the last, he sent a super sticker for 99 cents. Thank you for your generosity, your support. This might help me because I'll be looking at notes and then I'll look at this. I'll just look at my screen, which is a little bit bigger and easier to see. So if a super chat comes, I should be able to see it, and I can. I think I can. No, I don't know where it went. Oh, here it went. I can move that. So if I miss a super, I can go back and look for the super chats, but it only lets you go so far back. So I'm going to have to be on the ball because I really want to keep my commitment and read and thank every single super chatter and super sticker sender and all you guys. It really does matter. It really helps the show. As soon as I got to tell you too. What is today? Today is Sunday. So on Thursday night, I got to the cabin, and it was a little rainy and everything, but I wanted to take a hike into the woods, right? And just sort of chill out, take a long walk and think. And during my walk and think, I was thinking very negatively. I was getting bitter about these super chats not getting turned on, because we've been waiting for 5 months for them to do so after we hit the metrics that they wanted. And, I started thinking about, like, would I work at any other job for 5 months for no money? Or would I quit the first week I didn't get a paycheck, And you guys know I love doing this, but, I have children, I have responsibilities. So if I'm going to put a great deal of time into this, I'd just like to make Taco Bell wages. I don't think I'm asking too much to make federal minimum wage, right? But anyway, I was walking in the woods and I was kind of bitter and, getting real negative about the show. And I started thinking, what I ought to do? I ought to just stop doing the show until they turn it on. Or I ought to just do one show a week because I'm working way too hard for no money here. But then I thought more about it and thought, like, I've come so far. We really worked hard to hit that goal, and I'm going to keep going. And I swear this is Thursday night. I'm walking around and I'm walking around in the woods, started feeling better. And I started going, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to keep going. I will not be denied. This goal of mine is to get the channel monetized. I thought it was going to take 2 months. I didn't think it was going to take almost a year, but it took about 6 months just to hit the metrics they wanted. And then we waited about 5 months for them to actually turn it on, right? So anyway, I resigned myself. I said, I pushed the negative thoughts out of my mind and said, I don't care if they never turn it on. I'm going to keep doing my show and be successful at it. Maybe I'll never hit that goal to get the thing monetized, but things are beyond my control. I can't control YouTube. You can't even contact them in some ways, right? There's no humans there. It's all algorithms making these decisions. So I realized how hard I'd already worked. And although I was bitter that other people were able to make, that's all I want is a level playing field. Other people could take super chats. Let me. It's not fair if I'm doing the same kind of show as 10 other shows that are taking super chats, right? Well, not really same, but covering similar topics, whatever. But again, I finally went, I'm going to just keep my head down and keep working hard towards making the show successful. If YouTube doesn't ever turn it on, whatever, I won't be stopped. I'm not going to be stopped over a couple of dollars in my goals. So whatever happens, happens. And I felt better. I started walking back to the cabin thinking, I can't control things. And there's things I can't control. I got to let it go. I got to let the universe worry about it and not me. But I'm not going to be stopped in my goals from doing this show, from building the show, from getting a bigger audience, from getting bigger and better, right? I'm not going to be stopped. And I got to tell you, I woke up Friday morning and checked my YouTube stats and saw that big, it's like a blue bubble, like, congratulations, you've been monetized. And I laughed out loud because just a few hours the night before, 12 hours before that, I was depressed about this stupid super chat thing. And I was disappointed and I was bitter and I was angry, but I worked through it. And I got to there was some kind of synchronicity, I think, that the very next day where I said, I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. Boom. The universe fixed the problem, I guess. And so now we have the super chats. And I got to tell you, I'm so happy and pleased. Yeah, and don't forget to push the like, people. Yes, smash the like button. It really does help. Andrew Whitley, can poor people still ask questions? Yes. Listen, I will read. The only thing that a super chat guarantees you is that I will read every single super chat, and I will thank whoever did the super chat. I'm still going to be taking regular comments from you poor people. Andrew Whitley, I'm poor too, okay? That's why my Patreon is $1. Somebody complained to me, and actually it was an old music fan of mine, sent me a message and said, I'd like to hear your new songs that you're working on, but I'm not signing up for Patreon because I don't like rewarding people who put things behind a paywall. And I mean, it's only $1. I sent him the songs. I said, I'm sorry that you don't feel that I'm worth $1, whatever. Thanks for supporting me. He did. The guy bought. I remember the guy buying CDs, being at old shows of mine. So I sent him the stuff. I get it, Andrew Whitley. I'm poor myself. I am poor. So I want to be kind to poor folks, right? Yeah, I will still take questions and comments from you poor people, okay? But I'll take more questions and comments from you people that are sending me a super chat. Let's be honest here. The super chats ensure that I have to read your comment. I have to take and thank you. I may miss some good. One way, Andrew Whitley, to be sure that I share your comment and read it is to put it in all caps, like Out of Mind just did. Remember, I'm somewhat visually impaired, and that really does help me know when I look in the live chat that comment is for me and they want me to share it and read it. So Out of Mind says, great life lesson for you there, Stephen. Awesome. And you know what you don't know says, ask away, Andrew. Yeah. Yeah. Well, don't worry if you're poor. We're still gonna. I still love my audience equally. Well, I love you people sending me money just a little bit more. Let's be real, friends. Cash buys my love and attention. I can't deny it. Okay, but we're gonna try to not be we're gonna try to not be slimy about the super chats. It's just one more way to It's just one more way to support the show and interact with the show. And again, if you're joining us late too, I did mention this. I'm asking everybody not to curse in the comments. I'm going to try to not curse. We're going to try to not anger the AI algorithm gods now that they turned on my money fountain. Because if the money fountain is good and then gets turned off, I may be upset. Because praise the cash, right? Yeah, I can't tell you how happy I am though that these super chats got turned on, because now I feel like now things are fair. These guys that are telling people fake stories about aliens are lying to people. They can take super chats. Why can't I take super chats when I'm trying to bring people the truth behind these things, right? I think it's only fair. Andrew Whitley, no, nothing's really going to change. Ask anybody that knows me. Money has never changed me. I have been a rich man and a poor man throughout my lifetime, Andrew. I got to tell you, it's a lot easier going through life being a rich man. Right now, I'm a poor man, and things are a little more difficult. But I really don't. I don't believe that money really. Do you ever notice that the richest people are sometimes real miserable? Right? You ever spend any time with anybody that's really, really wealthy? I had a chance to. I worked for somebody who was really wealthy, and she was the kind of woman who. Every time, she would take us, all of us that worked for her, out to these really expensive restaurants. And I'm talking like a $200 meal, right? And I'm not real big on fancy food and 7 courses, but whatever. She would always be sending plates back, complaining about everything. And she was wealthy, right? And it was little things like, I don't know. She would just always find a reason to be miserable. And I always, Is it just me, or when somebody's wealthy and they're nasty, do you want to punch them in the face? Like, what do you got to be nasty about? Shut up, you know? So yeah, don't worry. I don't think that money, the change in the money situation here is going to change anything, except for the better, because I'm going to do more shows. I hope if we have the level of donations that we had tonight on every show, I'm doing 2 shows a day. Like because it would be financially worth it for me to spend more time working on the show, researching things for the show, getting together more shows to go and broadcast. It's a lot of work, but I don't really have very much else going on as far as income wise. I got a few things, but they're not working out. So if this is working, I'm here. I will be here, right? AJ, I agree with that, though. If you say money doesn't buy you happiness, then shopping in the wrong arcade. I don't know that it buys you happiness, but you got to agree, AJ, that if you have money, you can buy yourself amazing experiences that are sure to make you happy. Like, what if you always wanted to see the Great Pyramid and you have the money and you could just hop on a plane to Cairo and get a tour guide and go see the Great Pyramid? That's the kind of thing that, and paying people for things you don't like to do, right? AJ, like, do you like cleaning the toilet? I don't. And if I had plenty of money, I could pay someone else to do these things or cut my grass. Me and my wife are having an argument right now about that because the ride-on mower's down and all I have is a push electric mower. And we got a lot of grass and it takes me hours and hours to do it with that thing. We have to get the other one repaired. In the meantime, we have to get somebody to cut our grass maybe a few times. And I'm like, nope, I'll just suffer through it until we get the ride-on fixed. Just grew up too blue collar. But when I think about the fact that it takes me 3-4 hours to cut the grass with this push mower, if I could pay somebody and make more money than I paid them in that 3 or 4 hours, it makes more sense. So yeah, I think money can buy things like experiences, right? And some of those experiences, sure, we're going to make you happy. How many of you have taken like a really, really good Caribbean vacation? You remember it for a lifetime. Or had the funds to pay somebody to do some of the drudgery things that you don't want to do, right? Yeah. My oldest is autistic, and I don't think that he would do very well doing that. And my youngest is 5 years old, and my wife is dead set against him even trying until he's like 10. So I got 5 more years of cutting grass. But yeah, eventually that will be one of my son's jobs because I had chores growing up there and it taught me something. And, if I wanted something, my dad would be like, get out there and cut the grass and I'll buy it for you or whatever. It taught me to work for things. So I'm going to do that with my kids. But you don't know, says, I just want someone to clean my portal. Oh yeah. So I guess, friends, we're going to wrap things up here. I once again want to thank each and every one of you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, and everybody who was happy and congratulated me that we finally got monetized. We finally got the super chats. This really should mean that I could make a part-time living doing this, and that is amazing. That is amazing. I've hated most of the jobs I've ever had. If this becomes even a part-time job for me, it will be the most creative, the most rewarding thing that I've ever done for money, right? It's great. It's like working at a CD store or something. It's just like a cool job. And imagine when somebody says, what do you do for a living? And you say, I run a YouTube show. Kind of weird, but that's something to be proud of. I had no idea how hard these guys work doing this when I started this show, but I got an education real fast, and we continually are growing. Oh, I mentioned, I totally lost my train of thought earlier. So I had 2 goals when I started the show, and one was to get monetized, and the other one was to hit 100,000 views. And we're at 94,141 views. So we've hit the first goal that I set when I started the show, which is to get monetized. And we're about to hit the second goal. I don't know where I got that. I just thought, yeah, I want to hit 100,000 views at least within a year, because that would probably mean the show is somewhat successful and being watched and talked about and this and that. We're just about to hit those first two goals. So the great part is now I'm gonna set new goals for the show, like get us on 5 different podcast networks for the audio, and get us on DLive and a few more platforms so that we can spread the show. Graf72 says, congrats, Mr. Cambian. Yeah, thanks to everybody that has helped get the show this far along. You guys have all participated in the live chats. You guys have been hitting that like button, sharing videos, commenting on videos. All of you guys help make this happen, because YouTube looks for the engagement. And if I had the views with no engagement, I don't think they would have monetized. They want the engagement. They want to know that there's real people in that chat talking, typing, interacting, communicating, right? So that they know they're serving ads to real people. Unlike some people who use bot farm views and bot farm live chatters. Yeah. So you guys all helped and contributed. Oh, well, I got real excited for a second there. Melissa is here and sent me, what is MX? I don't even know what MX is. I thought I was rich for a second, Melissa. I was like, oh, Melissa just sent me $110. Wait, we got to do the exchange. She wanted to send $5, but didn't know how to change currency. So let me see. We got to do this right now. I thought I was rich, Melissa. For a split second there, I was like, oh, I'm rich. 110 MX to US dollars. I don't know what MX is. I don't know. MX, is it? Do I need the dollar sign there? I don't know. Or is it Mexican? Is that Mexican? Yeah, that's Mexican money. So it's $5.44 with the exchange rate. Thank you. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and support. Even though it's not $110, I get it. But I still think it's cool because somebody just sent me Mexican pesos, and I could spend that money. It's awesome. I thank you, Melissa, for your continued support of the show, your participation in our live chat, and for this kind and generous offering of $5.44 US, or 110 Mexican pesos. I can't wait to tell people somebody just paid me in Mexican pesos. That's cool. Thank you very much, Melissa. Longtime friend and supporter of the show, live chat participant. You are most welcome, I am most thankful for your generosity and your support. It means a lot to me that all you guys threw me a couple of bucks today. We kind of did. We had a good show today. We deconstructed David Wilcock's latest garbage, and we had a super chat celebration. And thank you for all of you who threw me a few dollars. And hey, to those that don't have a few bucks, I get it. It is rough out there, brother. Can you spare $1? That's why I'm begging for super chats on the internet. So I get it. And there's other ways to support the show, and you all do support the show. So thank you all very much. I always say this, I'm always happy when there's an audience, friends. It always makes me happy when I get to come here and talk to you guys, my friends. There's always an audience here. So I consider myself blessed. And like I said, I have an attitude of gratitude now. I consider myself incredibly blessed that you guys are here, my audience. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Without you, there's no show. It's just me talking. And what we really have here is an open conversation. Anybody can join in. So thank you for being here in the audience tonight. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you. Especially you people sending me super chat donations. You get a double blessing. Good night.